Now, a bunch of people out there had the theory that, look, some of Trump's recent actions are going to create a rift in the base. And that rift in the base is basically going to make it so that it's much easier to oppose Trump. It's much easier to twist Trump's arm, apply pressure, maybe even get some wins out of him, right? You've heard the theory before. We've all heard the theory before. There's going to be the populist left and the populist right will get together. And whenever Trump steps out of line, they'll hold him accountable. You know, if he starts bombing Iran, they're going to turn on him. I mean, we've all heard this, right? Josh Hawley, supposedly a populist right Republican senator. We were told that he's the only one standing in between the American public and Medicaid cuts. Well, you're not going to be surprised to learn that Josh Hawley, while he was saying, this bill is bad and it cuts Medicaid and I don't like it, he says in the next breath, and by the way, I'm for it. I'm going to vote for it. And he did. He voted for it. So there is no populist right. The populist right are complete and utter frauds. At the end of the day, they all wind up being Dick Cheney or George W. Bush. There is no right-wing politician constituency for protecting Medicaid, protecting Medicare, pro-union, pro-raising the minimum wage. When push comes to shove, they all fall in line and they all become standard establishment MAGA Republicans. And they will do Trump's dirty work, and they will do the dirty work of the billionaires and the corporations. Okay, well, we now have some new poll numbers that just came in about the MAGA base and how they're currently feeling about Trump. And man, do I think this is telling. Because again, Trump's second term has been a horror show, wall-to-wall horror show. I literally can't think of a single thing he's done that's been positive. I can in the first term. In the first term, he pardoned Alice Johnson. That was great. He did the First Step Act. That was great. He killed the TPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnership. That was good. I can get, I'm reasonable. He banned bump stocks. I'll give credit where credit is due. But in this second term, there is no credit. It's just a horror show. It's just a nightmare. He's totally unhinged, totally unchained. There are no guardrails. He surrounded himself with sycophantic yes men. He's gone full fascist. He's gone full robber baron. I mean, this is like the worst thing I've ever seen. I didn't think it was possible to appear more evil than George W. Bush's time in office. But here we are. So, is the base now flipping? Is the base now holding him accountable? Well, let's find out.
So we're going to look at the strongly approved number. So this isn't just Republicans who like Donald Trump. This is Republicans who love Donald Trump. And he's up like a rocket. Look at this. In July 2017, the strongly approved was 53%. That's pretty good. But look at where he is now. 63% of Republicans strongly approve of the job that Donald Trump is doing about 5 months into his presidency. Republicans love Donald Trump the way that Americans love Disney World. The bottom line is 63%. That is a huge, huge base. And of course, it's just part of a Republican base in which about 90% of them overall approve of him, including the somewhat approves as well.
All right. So do you understand what he's saying there? He's saying Trump today, the number of Republicans in the base that, quote, strongly approve of Trump, that number is more than any politician's base has ever felt about the president of their party. So his base has gotten stronger. His base has gotten more into him. They love him more now than they ever have before. The totally unhinged Trump, the sadistic, malevolent, evil, fascist Trump. His base looks at that and they go, more of that. That's what we want. That's what we love. That base is rock solid. I've told you guys a million times, but the number is anywhere between 26% and 33% of the country is flat out in a Kool-Aid drinking fascist death cult. And this validates that. This proves that 63% strongly support him in his base more than any other president and their base. And over 90% at least somewhat approve of him. All right, we're not done.
Every politician would like this number here, especially to see it go up. How about compared to other presidents who were Republicans?
Yeah, it's history making. It's history making. What are we talking about here? So why don't we look back? We have all the presidents, Republican presidents, going back over the last 35, 36, 37 years. What are we talking about? GOP, who strongly approved 5 months in. Look at this. George H.W. Bush, Bush 41, 46%. Bush 43, 59. You see Trump, the first term, 53. But look at this. 63%. He beats all the other Republicans on the board here. And I was looking even back since Reagan. And get this, Donald Trump beats Ronald Reagan when it comes to the strongly approved 5 months. And of course, Reagan was coming off that high after that assassination attempt.
The worse he is, the more they love him. This is why we call it a fascist death cult. This is why we say it is sadism. When he rounds up innocent people and sends them to CCOT, the concentration camp in El Salvador, no due process, no hearing, no habeas corpus. You don't get to talk to your wife or your family or your lawyer. We rounded you up. We put you on a plane that afternoon, and we send you to a place where you will never be let go. They look at that and they go, yes, more of that, please. They look at Trump saying we're going to send 30,000 people to Guantanamo Bay. They go, yes. They look at Alligator Alcatraz and they go, yes. A concentration camp in the middle of the Everglades swamp in South Florida where they're only under tents and that can get blown down by a hurricane at any moment. Even a strong thunderstorm we love it. More of that. Did you bomb Iran? Great. Did you bomb Yemen? Great. Did you bomb Somalia? Great. Did you have Elon Musk, the world's richest robber baron, loot the treasury, steal everybody's data, destroy the regulatory state, destroy the administrative state? Did you just massively cut Medicaid and kick millions of people off healthcare? Wonderful. We love it and we love you because you're giving us the show. The show is, the vibes are, the Democrats are the baddies. They're the bad ones. We're the good ones. Whatever we do is good. Whatever they do is bad. And now I'll entertain you in the process. And they look at that and they go, yes, inject it straight into my veins. I love the show. I love the vibes. I'm here for it. I'm Team Trump. The fact that Trump is more beloved by his base, by the MAGA base, than Ronald Reagan was by his, says it all. Because Ronald Reagan, they deified him. They deified him. They thought that man could do no wrong. He's the one in all the Republican presidential primaries, Ronald Reagan. Oh, we love Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan. I'm going to be like Ronald Reagan. Isn't Ronald Reagan the best? Now, he has eclipsed Reagan. In this moment, the more unhinged he is, the more unchained he is, the more sadistic he is, the more evil he is, the more he destroys the social safety net, the more he gives to billionaires, the more he does more bombings, the more he rounds up innocent people. Yes, 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 is what they say.
So the bottom line is Donald Trump is making history with the Republican base. He is more beloved by this Republican base than any Republican base loved any GOP president 5 months in. It is history making.
It is a striking number. Tillis stepping aside after President Trump threatened to primary him. The question is, how effective is Trump's endorsement? We know it can hurt, but how effective is it?
Yeah, okay. So, the bottom line is, if you're a Republican lawmaker, you see this 63%, you say, my goodness gracious, you do not want to go against Donald Trump because the Republican base is with Donald Trump. And it's not just the polling. We actually have the data to show that the Republican base is with Donald Trump. The Times Trump endorsees won the GOP primary for governor and congressional races. Look at this. 2024, 96%. 2022, 95%. 2020, 98%. The bottom line is this. 95% plus of the time, the Trump endorsed candidate wins in GOP primaries. And even in the cases where Donald Trump endorses a challenger to an incumbent, the majority of the time, that challenger wins. So Donald Trump is a winner in Republican primaries. You go against Donald Trump, to quote the movie Good Burger, you go in the grinder. Donald Trump is the key nugget. His endorsement is the key nugget in a GOP primary because he's historically strongly popular with the GOP
And now
base.
there's going to be a surprise primary in North Carolina, so we will be watching that, of course.
So if you wonder why, well, hold on. It's not like these Republican Congress people and Republican senators, it's not like they don't know what they're doing is wrong. It's not like they don't know the bills they're voting for are horrific. It's not like they don't know Trump's a ridiculous person who overreaches on a daily basis. They know all of that. This is why they don't push back. Because they know Trump could destroy my career with one tweet. They know Trump can destroy my career with one endorsement of my opponent in a primary. They know that. They know that. So that's why it's very rare, like Thomas Massie bucking Trump on the big, beautiful bill and Rand Paul bucking Trump. First of all, they're libertarians. Massie is a libertarian first before he's MAGA, right? And libertarians have a streak of being more principled like Ron Paul in the past. But he knows by doing this, am I risking my career? Absolutely, I'm risking my career. Trump's already looking for a primary opponent to Thomas Massie. And look at these numbers, 98%, 95%, 96%. Now, maybe Massie ends up being one of the lucky ones. Every political era, there's some politicians who are just untouchable. Think of Bernie Sanders as an independent in Vermont. Think of Ron Paul in the past in Texas. Like every now and then there's some politicians who really march to the beat of their own drum and they still end up winning. But that's rare. And so they know, oh my God, my life is literally, it has now boiled down to defend dear leader at all costs. Back dear leader at all costs. You think Murkowski doesn't know that she sold out the country by voting for the big, beautiful bill? Of course she knows that. But this is the way the game is played. He will try to destroy you if you do the right thing. That's what's going to happen. And so what you see here is it's a cult. He has a stranglehold on not just the politicians, which he does, but he also has a stranglehold on the voters, on the MAGA base. Now, just to really put the finer point on it here, again, many people thought, well, look, once Trump starts doing things that are objectively bad, that cut in a non-populist direction, well, then the base will wake up. Well, what did he just do recently? Illegally and offensively bombed Iran, a country that didn't attack us, it wasn't going to attack us, and they weren't building a nuke, right? And look, prior to Trump bombing Iran, if you asked the Republican base, hey, would you support war with Iran? If you phrased it like that, it'd be 50% or less support war with Iran. If you phrased it like, would you support bombing Iranians' nuclear facilities? Then it's between like maybe 50 and 70% of the base says, yeah, we support that, right? So in theory, if they were going to break with Trump, when Trump did the illegal and offensive attack on the country that didn't attack us and wasn't building a nuke, that number would go down. And you would see fewer Republicans support the bombing of Iran, right? Well, what actually happened? Republicans overall, 85% supported the bombing. 85%. Ready for this? When you go specifically to MAGA Republicans and you ask them, so people who define themselves as I'm a MAGA Republican, I'm in Trump's base, that number becomes 94%. So it was before Trump bombed Iran, right? Depending on how you ask the question, yeah, about 50% of Republicans said, yeah, I'd support that, but half said no. Half said no. Now you could look at that and say, oh, that's a hopeful thing that maybe they'll stand strong on that, or maybe more people will swing against it. No. Soon as Trump did that illegal and offensive bombing on a country that didn't attack us and wasn't building a nuke, it went from 50% all the way up to 94% of the MAGA base. I support this. That's why you see Charlie Kirk, sloppy Steve Bannon, all these commentators, Tucker, all these commentators who are pretending, oh, I'm principled and I'm against this. As soon as Trump did it, Charlie Kirk was in a fight for his life with the mental gymnastics he was doing, trying to say, oh, this is different. Oh, this is okay. Oh, this is actually not that bad. Oh, he's got intelligence we don't have. You saw all of them. Tucker Carlson called Trump and apologized for being so anti-war. Steve Bannon said, if Trump ultimately ends up wanting to do this, the MAGA base is going to support him. That's why you can see a scenario where they say one thing, then they do the opposite. Josh Hawley, like we talked about. I'm against these Medicaid cuts. Medicaid cuts are bad. Oh, you need my vote to get this thing passed? Okay, I'll vote for the Medicaid cuts. This is a fascist death cult. That's what it is. There's no way around it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It is right there in front of you, plain-faced by the numbers, dog. I don't care about opinions. I don't care about hot takes. I care about the numbers. Soon as Trump bombed Iran and the MAGA base, 94% said, that's right, I love it. That's all I need to know. That's all I need to know. And you know what? It's time for a little bit of accountability. It's time that we call a spade a spade. It's time that we tell the truth. We should not be reaching out in the hopes of finding agreement where there ultimately will never be any agreement because they're just going to follow the cult leader. The way to defeat this menace, and that's what it is, it's a menace, the way to do it is a giant coalition of independents, liberals, and leftists, and build a movement of our own that takes no bullshit, calls out all their bullshit, and has our own narrative, our own story, our own policies. They say the problem is the immigrants and the trans people. We say wrong. They're our brothers and sisters. The real problem, it's the billionaires. It's the billionaires and it's the fascists. It's the corruption in our system. We're for universal health care. We're for a higher minimum wage. We're for free college. We're for the PRO Act so everybody can join a union and make a better living and have better benefits. This is how you win. But it's not by reaching out for some phantom agreement where there is none. And so everybody needs to get it through their heads. This is cult shit. 94% of the MAGA base supports the bombing of Iran. That's cult shit. Because we all know they weren't going to attack us, and they weren't building a nuclear weapon. And he attacked them anyway on behalf of Israel. If you can find your way to rationalize yourself into supporting that, I'm done. No interest. In the same way, if you're defending sending people to Guantanamo Bay in the year of our Lord 2025, if you're defending sending people to CCOT, the El Salvador slave labor camp, concentration camp in 2025, if you're supporting the building of Alligator Alcatraz, if you support rounding up innocent people, 92% of them not violent criminals, I got nothing for you, dog. If you support massive tax cuts for the wealthy at a time when we have a record income and wealth inequality already, I got nothing for you, dog. You're a political enemy. And it's okay to say that. It's okay to believe that. And it's okay to act on that.
Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.